Hello, and what is up, guys? My name is Jager-M from Screencasters. Coming to you now with a deck profile update of my Chaos Dragons. This deck has went through a lot of changes. This isn't really a variant. This is my actual build of Chaos Dragons that I main in real life. It's really fun. It's really consistent. It basically takes pieces of all the other variants and puts them together. It's really fun, and I highly recommend it if you're looking for a deck that has extremely explosive plays that can explode out of nowhere and just OTK the opponent just out of nowhere. So yeah, first things first, let's get this video to 20 likes. I really would appreciate that. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, let's see how it goes. This is the Chaos Dragon deck profile. Okay, first things first. You need one Darkness Metal, one Dark Arm Dragon, and one BLS. These are basically the boss monsters of the deck. They do a lot of cool things. The deck is basically built to make these guys as much and as soon as possible. Kind of self-explanatory there. Alright, we're doing 3 Light Pulsar. I don't really run Dark Flare. I don't like Dark Flare's effect is really bad to me personally. Light Pulsar just has so much more synergy with the deck. You can fill up your graveyard by sending a Light and Dark from your hand to the graveyard to bring them back. And if he dies, you can bring back one of your level 5 or higher Dark Dragons in the graveyard. So a lot of cool things to do with that. He loops at Red MD, and he can bring back Hot Red, a lot of cool things like that. I did cut the BLS, well, I still have the BLS. I cut the Gores and Chaos Sorcerer for consistency. They really were just a source of darks for me, personally, as they either were milled or something. But I will get to that later. On to the Baby Dragons. 2 Black Baby Dragon. 2 White Baby Dragon. And 1 Eclipse Wyvern. Still rocking the 1 Eclipse Wyvern. I have no complaints with it. The real main thing you have to remember about the Baby Dragons is that they do float free if they use a synchro material, which is very, very important towards the end of the video. No surprise there for you guys who stick around for that. But yeah, these are basically great source of light and darks if they're milled, and basically further your synchro plays, and a lot of cool things to be done with that. And they're also dragons. Yay. Onto Lightsworn Engine. Rocking 3 Raiden. Double Lila. And double Lumina. I decided this is the best overall engine for the deck, the amount of Light Swords, all things considered. They all do their own thing. You want to open up Raiden more than any of the other 2. You really want to search the Lumina off charge or something. Raiden mills 4, he's a tuner. Lumina brings them back. And if you have double Lumina, you can go into Dante, which is really good. Lila pops your back row and can mill 3 for you. You know, a really good plus with that. Yeah, these are only Light Swords we run. I was trying Wolf and Felice out, but I decided those aren't really as needed, and it kind of hurt the consistency if you drew into them. So yeah, this is the perfect amount of Light Swords for me personally to run. On to the Shaddoll engine of the deck. Yes, we're still running Shaddolls, and went through a few changes over there too. 3 Hedgehog, double Lizard, 1 Dragon, 1 Beast, and 1 Falco. The reason I run 3 Hedgehog is because Hedgehog is the one you want to open up with the most. Hedgehog is so good in the deck. When you send to graveyard, you got a Shaddoll monster from your deck to your hand. All these are once per turn, but the cool thing about this is if you only open up Hedgehog and you have a bad hand, you can just set them, you get flipped, you can add your Shaddoll Fusion, and just go off from there. He's just so good. I much prefer opening up Hedgehog than any of the others. The reason Skomata is still really good, that he warrants more than 1 copy, is because he's milled. If you milled, you can send any of these guys to the graveyard and trigger off their effects. So you don't just get 1 dark in the graveyard with Skomata, you get 2 at least, which is really good. So basically, you want to draw into your Hedgehog, and you always want to mill your Skomata. Think about that. Dragons for back row, Beast nets you a draw, and Falco floats for you. Sometimes, typically, I like to foolish out the Skomata into Falco to get, you know, some board presence out. Board presence is for your advantage, and this is for clearing out the board for the OTK. So that's the only Shaddolls we run. It's a pretty hefty Shaddoll lineup. It's basically your main source of darks, as well as the Light Swords being the main source of lights. My theory on that has been working really well. I'm really glad how that's been turning out. On to the last of the deck. Is it focusing? And it better be focusing. We do 2 Jet Synchron and 1 Glow Up Bolt. These are the last of the monsters for the deck. I love these guys over any other tuner in the deck. We do run a lot of tuners who run the 2 Jet Synchron, 1 Glow Up Bolt, the Falco, as well as, where is he? Yeah, the Raiden. Those are all your tuners for the deck, and they're the most important cards of the deck. especially these two. They are your 1-for-1 targets. You can search out your Jet Synchron from tuning, which is absolutely busted because the tuning also gets you a mill. And the one thing I want you to remember most about Jet Synchron is that he's a fire attribute. And Glow Up Bulb's Earth, but anyway, Glow Up Bulb, when he's in the graveyard, can mill a card and bring him back. That's once per duel. That's why you only want to run one of him. And Jet Synchron, I keep wanting to bump this guy to 3. He's so amazing. He does so many good things for the deck. He's in graveyard, so if he's milled, you could send a card from your hand to graveyard and bring him back. He's banished afterward. That's really cool. He's really good for setting up and getting a synchro board made, I guess, established. That's it for the monsters. A really hefty monster count. Onto the spells. Double Shaddoll Fusion. And double Charge Light Brigade. I completely cut off Solar Recharge. I used to really like that card. But Shaddoll Fusion basically does what Solar Recharge did for me, but a lot more, what's the word for it? A lot more, I guess, it's like Mathematicians, much more control. It's basically a controlled Solar Recharge. That's what Shaddoll Fusion does for us. Especially if you get the fuse from deck. Basically, if your opponent has a monster from the extra deck, you can use your entire deck as a resource against your opponent. And that's absolutely busted, especially in this deck. Because almost everything does something in grave, especially when it's milled or anything. You can bring out any of your cool Shaddolls and just get over anything you need to. Typically with this, I like to send a Wyvern or a Lizard, to the graveyard. Lizard, and you make Construct. And Lizard's going to get you a Foolish Burial, Construct's going to get you a Foolish Burial, Eclipse Wyvern's going to thin your deck out. There's so many like deck thinning possibilities with Shaddoll Fusion, it's just absolutely busted not to run in this deck. Charge Light Brigade, just as powerful. I really wish this thing would go up to 3, because I really would play 3, it's just that good. I would play 6 of these, because it's so good. Basically, you mill 3 cards, add a Light Sword from your deck to your hand, so pretty cool there. Yeah, that's for those 4. Onto the 1-ofs. 1-1-for-1. 1 tuning. 1 Soul Charge, 1 Allure Darkness, and 1 Foolish Burial. A lot of people ask why don't I run Raigeki in the spell lineup. Basically, if I do have to make a Raigeki, I have to make cuts, and the reason I keep Soul Charge and Allure, because those are the ones I was considering cutting one of those for Raigeki, because everything else has its own purpose. Raigeki isn't really that good this format, to be fair. Against most of the meta decks, if you Raigeki a BA board to get all their stuff back, Shaddolls, they get their fusions back. Falco is going to float for them. Necros, it doesn't really matter against that deck. Raigeki, they can just rebound really quick with that, with the mirrors and so forth. There's a lot of things that if you just destroy someone's board, they can just come back just as well. And the thing about Soul Charge and Allure, they further your game state. It's basically, these cards help you more than Raigeki hurts your opponent. That's kind of my theory on that. Soul Charge gets you a fighting chance. Like, when you Soul Charge all your monsters back, you can set up a board, set up your defenses. They have to get through those offenses to get to you. If I get your opponent's board, okay, their turn, just summon everything out and OTK you. And a deck as fragile as this, that's kind of my theory on that. So, anyway, 1-for-1, you have so many monsters. You have 3 level 1 targets, which is the Glow Up Bulb and Jet Synchron. This thing's almost never dead. Tuning, kind of the same thing. It searches out your Jet Synchron. That's why I'll run 1, because I have 2 targets. Maybe if Jet Synchron went up to 3, I'd run 2 of these, but anyway. Soul Charge, set up unstoppable boards. Allure, you run so many darks, you can draw 2, banish them, not too hard. And the darks are all searchable, with Hedgehog, I guess. And Foolish Burial, sometimes, a real cool thing I like to do with Foolish is just send your Raiden out if you have Lumina in hand. Lumina, go into Michael, a lot of cool things with that. So, this card is just too good. That's it for the spells. On to the last of the main deck, just 2 traps, Breakthrough Skill. I was really, like, honest to goodness, considering a, what's it called? 2 Royal Decrees, but the reason I did not do that is because with Dante, we run Dante in the deck, spoiler alert, but the thing about Dante that kind of really is good about him is that he mills for you, and if you mill a Royal Decree with him, yeah, that's kind of bad. Since the deck is really turbo mill now, and still pretty consistent, I like the breakthrough skills over Royal Decree. I mean, you do side the Royal Decrees for those really back row heavy decks like Trap Tricks, Cleave Fort, and so forth. Yeah, I prefer breakthrough skill, because monster effects are always going to be a thing now, and yeah, if you really have to do side these out, I side these out in the Cliff Fort matchup for decrees, because this kind of helps them. Anyway, so that's it for the main deck. Onto the extra deck. I totally cut out the rank 6 engine, like, completely, so only doing 2 Xyz, 1 Dante, and 1 Levier. Dante is just a powerhouse, kind of situational, get into him, you need 2 Luminas, basically. But in all my playtesting, that's happened out, like, pretty much a lot. Like, Dante's really good. He mills 3 for you, and he becomes 25, and if you don't OTK with him, he goes back in defense for you. What's there not to like? Levier, he just overall just a good card. He lets you, it kind of controls you a little bit. Like, you don't want to banish willy-nilly when you have Levier, because when you banish, you can actually bring back. So he's kind of like adds more thought process to the deck, so you're not just throwing things out and banishing them for no reason. And a lot more thought process when you think about, oh, I can go into Levier. So really cool things. I chose these guys over the rank 6s because these guys further your plays, kind of back what I was talking about with the Raigeki thing. I'd much rather have an established board than my opponent not to have a board, because, yeah, the game's gotten so fast that you can't really just Raigeki and end, like, when they stop you. You just gotta keep going and going. That's what this deck does. It just keeps throwing monsters, just keeps beating people down. It's my favorite part of the deck. You, like, have so many monsters, a lot better than Pendulums. Anyway, under the fusions, 1 Winda, 1 Construct, and 1 El Shaddai Grista. I know. Why don't you run Shekanaga? He has better stats. Me. The thing about it, you only have 1 target for a Shekanaga, which is your glow-up bulb. But Gristo, you have 2, which is the 2 Jet Synchrons. And the thing about it, it's honest to goodness just a matter of preference. Gristo can actually hurt Pendulums, actually, because he destroy all of them. He kind of works like Blackhorn and Thunder King, though, but he doesn't specify just 1 monster, so that's cool. Kind of cool thing with him. And when you set him to grave, you can set up your Jet Synchron plays. It's too good. I really like Grista, to be fair. But if you do feel the need, you could totally put in Shekanaga. I would not hold it against you. Because I'm not seeing your decks, right? Anyway, El Shaddai Construct, just one of the best monsters in the deck. It's kind of one of the reasons I want to do deck profile really quick. Because you never know when the ban list is going to neuter your deck, and which has always been up in the coming. You never know when they're going to ban Construct. I only run 1, but knowing Konami, they have a history of neutering my decks. But, yeah, Construct's really good. Destroy any special summon monster, and all these float for you, really good. And Winda, I bring her out first. If I have to go first, and I know what my opponent's playing, and I want the game to be as slow as possible, I do bring out Winda. It's super good. There's no reason not to run Winda in this deck, because you have so many darks. Just really good, powerful, and controlling. So, on to the sync. That's for the fusions and the XZs. I have to cut down a lot of the extra deck for the fusions. But on to the synchros, the biggest part of the extra deck. 1 Hyper Librarian, 1 SL Synchron, 1 Jet Warrior, 1 Armatis. These are for your level 5s of the deck. We go into 5s and 7s most out of any other monster, which is really, really good. So, the reason I have a SL Synchron, you can just further your plays with a Jet Synchron by dumping them. And there's actually a really, really cool thing I want to show you to SL Synchron later on in the deck profile. It'll be really quick, because there's a reason we actually play the Jet Warrior. He's not just a free bounce, he does things for you. And Librarian, since you do synchro up so much and so often in the deck, getting free draws is nothing to complain about. And I chose Armatis over Catastor, because Catastor can blow up anything, but most of the time you don't just sit on them, you just want to go for the push. So when you attack with Armatis, it can't activate anything, so yeah, pretty good. We do 1 level 6, which is Goyo. I'm thinking about cutting Goyo, to be fair. I don't go into him often, but with Falco and any of the level 4s, you can go into him, so he's still pretty good. 2800 at Steals Your Girls, nothing to complain about. I did cut Black Rose, but yeah, 2 Michaels. He's really easy to make with any of the level 1 tuners in like Pulsar or the typical Lumina Raiden play. He's just overall good card. He's level 7 Dragon. He mills for you and banishes. Was there not to like? I am always a huge advocate for on-the-spot banishing. That's why this guy's still so good. On to level 8s, we just do 2. 1 Stardust Dragon, 1 Hot Red. Yeah, basically, I bring out Stardust Dragon second after I make my Construct play to protect everything. So, really cool. And Hot Red is a 3000 body. With this deck, I have noticed that my opponents was alive by like 100, 200, like so little, and I can't cowboy for game. Because it's just kind of hard for this deck. But anyway, the 3000 is really nice. Having a 3000 on the field is nothing to complain about. And the board wipe is also really nice. Now on to the last card in the extra deck, and no, it is not Leo, but it is a level 10. Bonus points if you noticed it in the beginning, like why the SL Synchron was there. But it's a really powerful card. Not a lot of people expect it, but when you bring it out, it's a total blowout card. Yes. Stardust Warrior. This card is a beast. This guy wins games by himself. He's a vanities for you. He's really actually super easy to bring out in this deck. Like a lot of people, I haven't seen a lot of Chaos Dragon decks play this guy, and I can understand he's kind of a newer card. This guy can just, this guy's just so good. He's just a 3,000 body, stops special summons, and comes back. And when he dies, you can bring out your Jet Warrior. And since it counts as a synchro summon, you get a free bounce, so basically bounce what destroyed him. What is there not to like? He's just really good and really consistent. I really choose him over Leo. And now, I know what you're saying, like, how do you make him in this deck? Well, don't worry, that's a special surprise in the end. Let me show you guys real quick. Alright, so for this combo, this is the only combo I'll do for you guys, for this video, I know. All you need is one of the baby dragons, just one of them. You can either be the black one, or the light one. All you need is one of them, the ability to summon them, and one of your level 1 tuners. For the purpose of this video, let's just use Global, a lot easier. So, this is what you do. So you can summon this guy, banish a light, bring him out, which isn't hard. Normal summon your glow up bulb, and sync for 5. There's your librarian. Since he was sent to the graveyard for synchro material, you can add the opposite copy from your deck to your hand. So you're going to add the Wyver Burster. So you're going to banish the black dragon for your white Wyver Burster. Mill a glow up bulb, you'll come back, sync for 5. And there's your Accel Synchron. Since Wyver Burster was sent to the graveyard as synchro material, you could add the black dragon. And since you did do a synchro summon, Librarian is going to let you draw a card. So you get like 2 free cards off of that. Now here's the best part. You have a level 5 synchro tuner monster and a level 5 tuner monster. That totals up to 10, sync for 10, there's your Stardust Warrior. So literally with just 2 cards, you can go into Stardust Warrior in this deck. That is how busted this deck can really be if you know what you're doing and you have the right setup. And my favorite part about this combo is the same combo to bring out your Stardust Warrior is the same exact combo you can use to bring out Crimson Dragon, because they're both the same level. Yeah, so that is the deck profile, guys, of Chaos Dragon. This is my real life Chaos Dragon, because I made it my own. I really have a lot of fun playing with this deck. I hope you guys can take some notes from this and make your decks as, like, I guess, revolutionary and creative as mine. Creativity is still a thing as long as you let it happen. Sounds dirty. But yeah, once again, my name is Jager-M from Screencasters. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let's get this video to 20 likes. I really would appreciate it. And comment down below your thoughts on the video, any comment suggestions on why didn't I run this, why would I run that, and so forth. And I'll totally answer you guys in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. See you guys.